Hi everyone, Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections and Curator at the Buffalo Naval Park. And for today's video, we're going into a very small but very mighty compartment. This is going to be the X-ray darkroom processing compartment. And I've been working with an intern named Theresa, who is a licensed veterinarian technician. And so even though she works on animals, she is obviously just very interested in our sick bay in general. And she's given me a lot of an index of the instruments that we have, so I can kind of begin cataloging what we do have on board here and seeing where there's gaps that we can fill in with medical supplies. So if you have any medical supplies at home or things that are getting tossed away, you know, wink wink, think of us. But so we're going to head in here, and the first thing we see is that even though the indicator light is on, we can guarantee that there's no processing of an X-ray going on right now. So let's head in there and we'll see what we're looking at. And of course, as the name implies, this is a dark room. So the first thing that we'll do is talk about this overhead light here. So that would be a red light, right, and about 15 watts.
Less than 15.
Less than 15 watts. You want a soft light. Do we know why they've picked red?
Oh, yes, I do. Can't tell you the exact reason at this moment in time,
Okay.
but it's something to do with the UV. So like
The
it doesn't,
spectrum,
yeah, it doesn't,
right?
It's easier on the processing.
Okay.
So like if we were to process one out here with like the yellow-white light, you're not gonna have an X-ray. But like if we use the red,
Right.
for some reason, it
might
works.
block out the red. Like that's kind of what they say about. We don't want to divulge. We don't want to go too far.
Let's not spiral.
But yes, let's not spiral. But yeah, like if you're using red, maybe it blocks the red UV from imprinting on the X-ray or something. Maybe,
Yeah,
or
something like that.
Okay. You might know more. If you watching might know more as well. So we do have the indicator switch right here, on and off. Right, that would be on if there was someone in here processing. Of course, this switch right here does the actual overhead here. And then we have a table. So why don't you talk a little bit about the table?
So that table is called either your wet table or your dry table, depending on which side of the processor you're on. In this instance, it's going to act as both for us, just because of how tiny the space is. But your dry table would be, say you're done taking a radiograph, you're ready to process it, really make sure that you got the image that you needed to get. You'll bring it in here, pop it on the table in the cassette that Shane's currently leaning on, and you'll bring it out, put it on these really special hangers to use to start the actual processing, and then you would transition over to the processing tank. And then the hangers that you use have these very special clips to them so that they don't damage the X-ray, but they also clip onto spots that that don't have an active X-ray on them.
So we'll talk about the hangers in a little bit. Right, but you're really excited about this.
I was. I feel like
Okay,
it's
so this looks like a normal drawer, right? So that's what I said. It's like, oh, we have a drawer in here. But then Theresa said, oh no, this is blank. And so what is this?
It is a cassette drawer.
Cassette drawer.
What would happen is typically on your X-ray tables, not so much now because everything's digital now, but back when you were doing your manual X-rays, you would have the cassette in there. So your cassette would be in here, but it would also have something on this part to stop the X-rays from going through further. So you'd have your table, your patient, the film, and then something to stop it all while being in here, because when you're sliding it, this would move with it to make sure that everything went with it.
And so then the unprocessed X-ray would appear here. And so like if you're at the dentist and you get an X-ray, they always put that lead thing over you.
Yep,
like
you get,
and so that would be like the bottom of this, like to stop it from going too farther. You can. These probably did something, we haven't figured them out yet, but maybe that's where they would hold the X-ray film in or something, maybe, or I don't know. That seems a little different. And then they would take it out and bring it to this space. All right, so then it gets brought in here, and then we come over to the Type 1, Size 1 processing tank. All right, from the Bar Ray Corporation in Brooklyn. And if we take a look at, Theresa brought in a guide, here you go. So the unit cover is already off, we've taken that off, but you'll see that there's two tanks in here with a center tank. And if we come over here, this is exactly what we're seeing, which is really cool. We take that off. This is the first step in the process,
That's the first step. So that's your developer solution. So once you come over from over here, you'll stick it in there, and you can see it's got special little specific area for the slide to go, or the film to go, not the slide.
Okay, so that is a process there. They put the cover on, and then there's a center section here, which is
the stop bath.
Okay.
So that's just regular water heated up to like 70-ish degrees.
Okay.
So it stops the developing. So if we want to do that, so we don't overdevelop the film. So we don't have an overdeveloped X-ray, so that way we can see bone clearly, we can see organs clearly without having too much of a develop on it.
An overdeveloped X-ray means that it's like whitewashed or something.
Pretty kind of. It could be too much saturation. It could be, I can't tell you like this is the lung, or if it's the heart, or if I'm looking at what I'm looking at. Okay. So it makes it harder to actually see what we're looking at.
Okay. And then it comes out of this bath, which is also able to be drained, or there's an
overflow.
An overflow, yes. Okay, an overflow tube. Then we come to the third part in the process, which is here.
Which is your fixer solution. Okay. So the actual film itself has what's called an emulsion gel. So it's nice and soft. It catches the X-rays in the actual film. So when you put it into the fixer solution, it hardens everything. So it makes that fun little, like, I can't even make the noise. Kind of that noise when like you like do like that noise. So it makes it nice and hard. It makes it easier for us to also look at the X-ray. So like when you hold up to light, you can see through it now.
Yes.
So, and then it goes back to the water.
Yes, okay, back into the water.
Rinse everything off. And then it starts, and it can stay in there for like 20 to 30 minutes. It doesn't hurt if it stays in there longer, but we definitely want it in there for at least the 20 minutes.
We have a lot of associated valves here that seem, so this might be leading into the processing bath equipment, right? And a lot of associated light switches too. Don't know what those are offhand, but we follow up to the cable, boom, and there we are. So, so these probably, you're thinking the overflow drain is probably in the back there?
Probably, I think, I could be wrong, but I think it probably connects to one of those pipes back there.
Yes, okay.
And who knows if they actually let it run through a filter to like take the silver out of the water, or if they just dumped it, So
there would be silver in here, and whether they had a filter on the pipes to just, because I was wondering, would it go just into our sewage area, or would it just, and what would the silver do to regular metal? Here's the cover. All right, we took it off, but I could put it back on. But actually, folks, it's really kind of heavy, so we could do that. But so this would be nice to. It's not currently open on the tour route, but it's something that would be pretty cool to kind of bring back a little bit. Maybe get, we didn't talk about the hangers, did we?
No.
So we got the hangers here, and so one can be for dry, one can be for wet, or both wet, both dry, depending on, you were talking a little bit earlier about the clips that would go on, right? So how long would the drying process take for a wet one, do you know?
A while. I don't know exactly off the top of the hand how long it would take, but it would probably be a good maybe like a couple of hours to let it dry fully. I could be wrong, but you got to think you have all this solution on it and water on it that it's got to just kind of drip to take everything off.
Yeah. And so meanwhile, you have the patient and you're probably really giving them a lot of drugs to keep them,
or like if you're doing, like if someone just like broke an arm and you're like, I just want to make sure it's like a complete fracture, or compared to like a hairline fracture, you could
makes sense.
At least bind it to make sure it's stable until you know for sure.
But it just kind of, with this technology back then, it just kind of stinks that you would have to wait a couple of hours to, get the result. Or would you be able to read it as it's hanging and drying, or?
No. Because you don't want it, because you have unprocessed X-rays in here. So you don't want to bring any of not unnatural, but unnatural light to this room.
Sure, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Let's go. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the X-ray room on USS Little Rock. Let's I'll take that. There we go. Here's Theresa. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, good. She's been very helpful, and Please leave questions, comments, subscribe, ring the bell, all of that jazz. And anything else, Theresa?
If I got anything wrong, let me know. I always like to learn, especially in regards to this, just to see if there's anything different from the vet world to the human world.
Like that. I like that. So, yeah, thanks so much. Please leave comments, and we will see you again very soon.